Now, I have some advice for you. Never start a project management document from scratch. In this video, I'll be explaining why and telling you three ways that you can avoid having to open up a blank file and start typing. My name's Elizabeth Harrin. I'm a project management author, trainer, mentor. I'm a fellow of the APM here in the UK. As you can tell from my accent, I'm based in the southeast of England. And I am going to share some advice for you today around creating project management documents. As project managers, we create a ton of paperwork, these days digital. When I first started out, I used to print paper copies of project files and then walk them around to the various stakeholders and have them sign them, wet signatures in ink back in the day. But nowadays, so much is done through e-signing and through digital copies. However, we still need to create the files in the first place. And one of the worst things to do, I'm a writer by trade. I write, I always have. So I know what it's like to open up a file and stare at a blank screen. It feels sometimes overwhelming. You don't know what to say. You don't know if what you're writing is right or appropriate, or it hits all the buttons, or you think you might have missed something out, which is why I never start writing project management documents from scratch. I can't remember a time, even in my whole career, and I've been doing this job 20 years, I can't remember a time that I have ever had to type a document from scratch. Now, what I mean by that is having a completely blank screen. Actually, I started a project budget from scratch once because it helped me with the maths to try to establish how the formulas were created, because maths is not the thing that I'm naturally gifted at. So to be able to create my own spreadsheet and put the formulas in myself made a difference. But that aside, you know, I'm telling you the truth. I feel like I haven't opened a Word document and had to type stuff, which is fine. So there are three different ways that you can avoid that happening to you as well. And the first one is the easiest of all. Look into your past documents, find a project that you've worked on in the past, open up the file, click Save As, and edit the text, right? That's basically what we do. When I was temping at a training company, when I was in the school holidays, when I was at college, that was one of the core fundamental practices that we would do. We would not start creating training materials or client proposals or anything from scratch. We would look at what was similar in the past, open up the file, and make sure that we were editing that appropriately, making sure that it was updated and relevant, but a lot of the boilerplate text, a lot of the basic stuff was the same. And you'll find that with all your project documents. The way that you approach risk management might be 3 or 4 sentences, but once you've written it once, you don't have to write it again and again for every project. You copy and paste. So you can use your past documents and pop those into your new filing structure for your new project with a quick Save As. Easy peasy. Now, that's not really very radical. It's not rocket science. Maybe I lost you because it's actually quite a basic tip. But you can not always do that if you're moving jobs. So if you're moving from one employer to another, or you're new, or you've never done that kind of project before, or you're in your first project management role, then you might not have an archive of files that you can just go to. Or you might have things, but they're not really appropriate. They don't match your new department. They don't match your new employer, or you haven't got anything. So the second thing you can do is ask around. Within your organization, talk to your colleagues, talk to your PMO, and see what document templates they have. So they won't have the text pre-populated, but they will have headers and footers and titles and all the different bits and pieces. And you'll know that you're covering all the important points because the structure and the framework of the file will be there for you already. So that is another simple way. It's always better to use documents that your company has created rather than free stuff off the internet, in my opinion, because it will be much more tailored and relevant, and it creates a standardization across your department or across your organization. So stakeholders know what it is that they're looking for every time, and they will see common threads. They'll see that all the documents look the same, all the business cases are presented in the same way, for example, which gives them greater comparability. It's easier to standardize and to compare projects because they feel familiar with the format. Having said all of that, if you can't use things you've created in the past, if you can't use things your colleagues have created in the past, if you can't use things from your PMO, then your third choice is that you use a document template that you buy or that you get free online. And there are hundreds and hundreds of free things out there on the internet that you can use. So I'd like to tell you about the ones that I have that you can have too. So I'm going to bring up my resource library on the screen, and I will then take you through what that's all about, so you can have a look and see if these kind of templates are going to be right for you. So why is that not sharing then? Can we see it? If you're watching live, you can give me a thumbs up. Oh, yep, you can see it. Cool. All right, so this is our resource library. If you go across to the URL girlsguide2pm.com, welcome to the resource library with hyphens in. I will link to that because that's difficult to type. You can sign up here. There's no charge. It just runs through my payment system so that I have you capture your email address and I can send you the links. So we've got this here. Stick your email address in, click I'm in, and you will get the info that you need to sign up. So I'll email you, or the system, it's not me personally emailing everybody, the system will email you the login details and you can set a password and all that jazz. However, once you are in, which takes about 1 second, this is what you will see. You'll come in, you'll have all the different things down here, and you can just navigate through. So, you know, let's go for things to do with the project lifecycle. So we can click to see the initiation project templates. There's some useful reading around how to use them and what's included in them, why you might want to use them, and then you can just grab the things, and it will just open up automatically. One thing to remember or to note is that these files are all stored on Dropbox. So if you are in an organization that has a firewall on your files and your firewall blocks Dropbox, then you may well find you'll need to access this from home or from a different PC, or you can always email me and I can email you the files. It's not a big deal. So we've got some initiation, we've got some planning templates, we've got some stuff around how to track and monitor and keep on top of your projects on a day-to-day basis with some resources in there. The statement of work tracker we added very recently, actually, in response to someone in our Facebook group who was asking for, I think it was the Facebook group. I do lose track sometimes of who's asked me for what, but the statement of work tracker was something that came up at some point by someone, and they wanted to know how best to track statement of works. It's not a statement of work template, so it's not going to help you put together a statement of work for a project or for a supplier. But if you have a lot of statement of works from other people that you need to keep track of, or that you are sending out to other people, then that will help you organize your work in just to make sure that none of your SOWs fall through the cracks. We've then got some stuff on project closure. We've also got this check section on career development. So you can see that there's a career development. It's so important for project managers, right? Because we need PDUs for professional development. PDUs tends to be the term used, but that really relates to the Project Management Institute PMI certifications. If you have other certifications for pretty much any professional body, you will still need to do continuous professional development, ongoing learning, whatever it is they call it. They might call it credits or units or whatever. You still need to be able to earn those and evidence your professional development. So there's some stuff in here. The career planner is what we talked about in the live video last week. So you can grab that from here too. And there's some other things as well. What else have we got? Oh, some freebies. The extras and bonuses section. This is over time we'll probably fill out with a few other cool things. Holiday cards was really, really popular at Christmas. I know that the time has gone, but just so that you can put on your calendar now, about November, come back, grab these. There'll be the 2022 version as well, and you can send out digital cards to your colleagues if you didn't get them this year. And some desktop wallpapers as well. And these are really good because they help you stay organized. So instead of having all your icons all over the place just on your desktop, you can use this screensaver. You can use this, it's a screen wallpaper. You put it onto your laptop and then you can just drag your icons into the various different sections to help you stay organized. And there's a couple of different pictures that you can use there. And I think the coffee one I quite like the night sky as well, because that's very restful. And I find the job of a project manager quite stressful from time to time. So it's helpful to have a lovely, peaceful desktop wallpaper so I can feel relaxed for those moments where I'm by myself and I haven't been interrupted by an email or a sponsor or a stakeholder on the phone. Okay, so these are just pictures, so you can just download them. I've tried to note here. Oh, you see now it's opening it. Do you want to have a look at that one? There we go. Is it going to open it in the... Oh, no, it's not going to... It's going to default to saving, which probably means you can't see that. Not to worry. Well, you can have a browse through those and see what they look like. What I like about having a starting point for my files is that I don't have to worry too much about what it is I'm going to put in, because at least if I download a project initiation checklist, for example, I've got lots of things that I need to consider at that point in my project. So I can start thinking creatively about what I need, what I'm going to have to put together, what's missing, and what I've already achieved. So that's quite helpful. And again, all of these documents, you'll find they are the basic versions. So you might know this already, but we also have a template shop. So for more advanced versions, more detailed templates, the more complicated things, then like the business case, for example, I have paid versions of those. They're not very expensive, but they include a lot more notes and they're more fleshed out, more mature templates. So consider this freebie selection your starter for 10. You can manage a project with this stuff. You can definitely use them, and people do, and people send me lovely emails about it. But you may well find that there comes a limit to how far you can go, depending on the size and scale of your project, with the free stuff. So that's all I wanted to mention. So go over here. Once you're in, you will be able to download those and come back every time whenever you need something else. They're just there for you. All right, let me take that off the stream for a second. Oh, hi, Andy. Lovely to talk to you as well. Nice to see you, and thank you for taking the time to comment. Cool. So I don't think that documents should actually be that difficult to create. Once you've got the right framework, once you've got the right structure, and you've got some templates and things to start with, then you can put them together relatively easily. So whether you're using freebie stuff, whether you're using your PMO's templates, it's really helpful to do a draft. Start by putting together a draft document of what it is that you want to create. Maybe get some eyes on it first. So I would normally put together, let's say we're doing a project charter. I would draft that using probably a version for a project I've created in the past. Draft that, keeping all the boilerplate text. By boilerplate, I mean all the stuff that stays the same. So in a project charter, we'd probably have some statements around how, as a team, we would be managing risks and issues. How, as a team, we will be doing document filing, how we will maintain data protection and meet GDPR requirements. All that kind of stuff is going to be the same regardless of whatever project you happen to be working on at the time. So we don't rewrite that stuff, we just use what was in there before or what the PMO has told us to put. And once I've got the bones of the document together, I would send that off to one of my closest colleagues, one of the people who I worked with on perhaps several projects in the past, who I know will give me some useful feedback, who's got some good attention to detail. I have a particular person in mind. You probably will have somebody on your team like that as well, or maybe a couple of people. Maybe another project manager, maybe someone in the PMO who can give you an impartial view. So send it around, get some feedback. And the reason we do that is so that we can polish the document before it goes to the important people in quotes, because what can be quite difficult is when you send off files to project sponsors and they come back with, oh, I didn't realize it was going to be done in 3 months, and you typed 3 instead of 13, or something like that. So obviously we want to make sure that the really basic mistakes get caught, and the easiest way to do that is to have somebody else just check your work before it goes to a wider audience. That also saves you from then having to issue multiple versions to the more senior stakeholders in your community, because not only does that waste their time, but it doesn't really give you a great impression of getting things right first time. So we try to make sure that the better approach is to make sure that your document is as good as it can be before it goes out. Then obviously there'll probably be another version because they'll come back to you with comments. And then once you've incorporated their comments, you will be good to go. So what we've talked about today is 3 different ways that you can avoid having to create documents from scratch when you're working as a project manager. Firstly, by using documents that you've created on other projects. Secondly, by using documents from your colleagues or from your PMO. And thirdly, by using freebie templates or even paid templates that you've found from reliable sources. I would have to say, and I like to think of myself as a reliable source, and using those as your starter for 10. You can then flesh them out, add more detail, and then they become the selection of documents that you have in your own personal library, your own personal archive that you can draw on when you need to create those files in the future. Okay, if you have any questions about that, you can let me know, and I'm very happy to answer queries about files. If you didn't catch what was in there, I can take you through it again, all that kind of stuff. So thanks very much. I'll see you in my next video. Have a great day. Bye.